My sister boasted at the funeral that she was the only one Dad ever trusted. I told everyone something that made the entire chapel gasp. My sister Emily always acted like she was Dad's favorite. At his funeral last week, she proved it in the worst possible way. I was sitting in the front row when Emily stood up during the eulogy. The chapel was packed, maybe 200 people, all of Dad's friends from the Veterans Lodge, his old co-workers from the Postal Service, neighbors from the block where he'd lived for 30 years. Dad trusted me with everything, she announced, her voice echoing off the walls. I was the only one who knew his wishes. I'll be handling the estate personally. My stomach dropped. I'm a paralegal at Mitchell & Associates downtown, and I'd been helping Dad update his will for the past 6 months. Every Saturday morning, we'd meet at the coffee shop near his house. He'd order black coffee and a blueberry muffin, and we'd go through everything line by line. Emily had no idea. She kept going, her voice getting louder and more confident. Dad and I talked every single day. He told me exactly how he wanted things handled. The house, the savings account, his veterans benefits, he wanted me to oversee all of it. I glanced at my mom sitting next to me. She looked confused, her tissues crumpled in her hands. They'd been divorced for 15 years, but she'd come anyway because Dad specifically asked her to be there. That should have been Emily's first clue something was off. Some people, Emily continued, her eyes landing on me for just a second, only showed up when it was convenient. But I was there for Dad when it mattered. My hands started shaking. I pulled out my phone and opened the documents folder. Everything was backed up there, the will, the notes from our meetings, even the text messages where Dad joked about Emily's upcoming surprise. Emily was really warming up now. Dad always said family was everything to him. That's why he trusted me to carry out his legacy. I know some of you might have questions about the arrangements, but rest assured, I'll be handling everything according to his exact wishes. Her husband Richard nodded along supportively from the third row. He was probably already calculating how much the house was worth. Dad's place was in a good neighborhood, probably worth $400,000, maybe more. And I just want everyone here to know, Emily said, placing her hand over her heart dramatically, that Dad's final months were spent in peace, knowing that I would take care of everything. We had such a special bond. He called me his angel. That's when I noticed Uncle Frank in the back row. He was shaking his head slowly. He knew. Dad had told him everything over their weekly poker games. Emily pulled a tissue from her purse and dabbed at her eyes. I'm sorry, this is just so emotional, but Dad made me promise I'd be strong. He said, Emily, you're the only one I can count on. Those were his exact words to me. She looked around the chapel, soaking in the sympathetic nods and murmurs from people who didn't know any better. So after the service today, I'll be collecting all of Dad's personal effects from his house. I already have the keys, and I'll be scheduling meetings with his bank and his lawyer next week to start the process of transferring everything over. My mom squeezed my hand. She whispered, Honey, is any of this true? I shook my head slightly. Emily was building to her big finish now. Dad always told me that some people in this family only cared about what they could get. He knew who visited him every week, who called him every single day, I stood up. The chapel went quiet immediately. Every head turned toward me. Emily, I said clearly, pulling out my phone and holding it up so everyone could see the screen. That's interesting, because I have Dad's actual will right here. The one he signed 3 weeks ago at my office with 2 witnesses present. Her confident smile vanished completely. The one where he specifically wrote that you hadn't visited him in 2 years. The one where he left you exactly $1, because that's what he thought you deserved, after you refused to help with his cancer treatments. I turned to face the crowd of mourners, all staring at me with wide eyes. Everything goes to charity. He made me promise to read this at his funeral if Emily tried anything. The chapel went dead silent. Emily grabbed her purse and ran out, her husband chasing after her. Thanks for making this easy, sis.